Hello. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Just turning down my back noise right here, right around. I was watching on the phone too, so
Oh, were you?
yeah, yeah. And who do we have here tonight?
Today we have Salem, who joins us at times on Cali Cocktail Hour. He doesn't really know why all of a sudden he's stage center, but I couldn't let him
He's
just be a little ear on the side. So how
yeah.
about
Well,
a
I think
butt?
we always see his butt. That's what I'm saying. Like, there it goes.
He's like, this is my good side, you guys. Here you go. You're
Yeah,
welcome.
that's
This is
right.
his fans only page.
That's right. He's like, This is where I'm gonna make my money at. So we'd like to
Money.
thank everybody for coming out tonight to Cali Cocktail Hour. I am Ruben Cuervo Suave, and ooh, our names. Hold on. There
Oh,
you go.
there
Well,
we
mine will be covered
go.
up, but and Melissa.
I am Melissa Funky Chicken. I still have my chicken hat. I may or may not put it on tonight, but I'm experimenting with different roles. And tonight
Yeah,
I'm going to play myself.
I like it. You may want to give Salem something there too. So, how is everyone doing out there? It is a great, great night, and we have lots of stuff for you to talk about, and a lot of conversation tonight with everybody. And we thank you for coming out tonight.
Yeah, what is everybody doing? I'm happy to be back, and I would love to hear if you're here. Just say hi and maybe give us your social security number. Or if you don't want to go that far, just tell us, give us a feeling because
Yeah.
it's Feelings Friday. Speaking of which, Ruben, how are you
Yes,
feeling?
I'm feeling great. Actually, I'm feeling great. I've was working on little bits and pieces for the show, so I'm excited when I get in the creative mode and I get to create different little pieces. But it also drives me nuts because I keep going back and forth and changing them, and I'm like, this has got to be it. So I did some new pieces for today, and hopefully they'll come out. I'm sure they will, but you kind of always look at that all the time. So I'm feeling good right now.
How did it feel to create them?
It feels good. I get lost into the. I was taking a walk, and my friend called me. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "Well, I'm taking a walk, but I'm also having the. I just had a whole show in my head. Like I was, trying to we what we talked about. We had questions. I'm like, okay, kind of answering it myself or trying to figure out, how to a way to make the show flow, kind of deal. And
Yeah.
but I like to visualize things first. I'm not a very
Well,
much of a structured person.
I feel like you putting that effort in makes the show a lot better. So I'm grateful that you do that because it's nice for me, the person sitting on the other side of the screen with you. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I love doing this. This is fun. So anytime anybody wants something, I'm like, I'll do it. Yeah. Which sometimes I'd set my boundaries, which is the theme of the show, right?
Yeah.
With that, because
Yeah.
I'm always saying yes, and then I get frustrated. I'm like, oh my god, I have so much to do. I'm like, okay, well, you're the one that said yes, so you should maybe think about that.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll do that too. And then be like, oh, and it's like,
yeah,
oh, I'm the one who did this. So it's
yeah,
so funny too, because once we chose this as a topic, which was a while back, a couple days back, then it started to turn up everywhere, which it already had been, which is why I was thinking about it. But it's funny how that happens, how we can all be on similar wavelengths as far as things that we're dealing with
yeah,
and boundaries, which the word isn't always used, but the idea of like, where does my fence start and when is it loving and when is it just me being a dickhead? That's a hot topic always, but I think especially right
yeah.
now. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
I think I was trying to think of something, but I want to try not to overthink it because I want to the answer to be natural too as I go
yeah,
because maybe I'll stumble and say something dumb, but I'm okay with
that's
that.
the beauty of a live show. And
Yeah,
honestly, Ruben, even though I've been like writing about this, I don't have my answers specifically for this topic either. If anything,
yeah,
it's more a good question. I think it's as gosh, I never want to say this poet's name out loud because I'm afraid I say it wrong, but I'm just gonna share that and then
Beetlejuice.
say it. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Ah,
Yeah,
no, Rilke, Rilke. Anyway, if anyone watching wants to be like, Melissa, you said it wrong, please correct me. But Rilke, the poet, said it's about living the questions, right? Not necessarily having answers, but living the questions and always asking ourselves, well, how do I feel about this? And how do I feel about this now? Because we're always changing. And yeah, so I invite anyone watching who might have an idea of how they feel or maybe not know to just be okay with that and help us to live the questions as we talk about that tonight. Because this is a complex topic. I don't think it has a right or wrong answer.
Yeah.
Different.
So we also have adoptable dogs tonight too. Two dogs that that need a home. So maybe if you're out there, need a dog during COVID, it's a perfect time. But we like to say hi to everybody, and put a comment down if you're here to say hello, so we know who's here. Because we like to also engage in you, because this show is about you. The show is about a community of whatever we're at this point in time, to come and hang out and live your life, feel it, do it.
Yeah.
So
We can't deal with this if it's just us. I don't know what we'll do with just Ruben and I talking. Like that would just be lame. Weird. What?
we got somebody.
Oh, our first comment. It's Krista. Is that who it is?
Yes.
Krista? Oh, because I just peeked at my screen rather than looking at the one that you had put up. Yay! Hi, Krista. I love you too. I was lucky enough to chat with my friend Krista today, and I'm always so grateful when I get to do that. I don't know if she'll stick around for the show, but Krista, I would love to hear your thoughts on this because we didn't talk about it today, although we danced around the subject. So, yeah,
Dancing is good too. So that's always a good one.
yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to. Oh, Ruben, I love that
Yeah,
you love Melissa. We have that in common.
I haven't said that yet. So yeah,
She just said it for you.
that's my boundary. Those are my boundaries right there.
I love how you'll
Thank you.
tell everyone watching the show, hey, we love you guys. Melissa, ooh, I
We
don't
need
know
to
about
talk.
her.
I'm setting a boundary right now. That's why.
My boundary is I don't
Thank you,
love
Krista. Yeah.
Melissa.
Hello, Amber. How you doing? And Uli's there,
Amber.
all the way from Berkeley, California. Awesome too.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
beautiful
So
downtown Berkeley.
yes.
Hi, Amber. Welcome.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to drop a feeling, we are always down to hold space for those, whether they're excited or terrible or.
Yes. Because
Welcome to the dog park for feelings.
yeah, we are the dog park for feelings.
So, in a dog park, there's a dog that's just like terrorizing everyone. And then there's a dog that's just shitting everywhere. And then there's the dog that's like scared of everybody. And I know we went through these dogs last time I was in the show, but
But
I
hey, we love
absolutely
them.
love that. We do.
There's a cat
Yeah.
that's driving all the dogs nuts. There's anxiety
Yeah.
dog. There's happy dog, sad dog, funny dog,
Yeah.
mad dog, right? And crazy kitty. So we got
Yeah.
feelings for everybody. All your feelings come out here. Do whatever they want. Hang out and looks like we have Joe Sanchez, Gassy.
Gassy dog. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
Gassy dog.
Hi, Doe. First of all,
Hello,
hi,
Doe.
Doe. I love you. Doe lost her power this week, along with like half of Sacramento. I hope you don't mind me airing your maybe dirty laundry because your washer might have not been working.
And
But
Amber
yeah,
said she's representing North Berkeley. Yes.
is there like a duel or like rivalry between the North and the South,
I don't know.
Amber?
What to see? Bring it up.
Is Uli on the same side as you, or are you guys on
Yes,
opposites?
that's right. Boundaries. Those are the boundaries we're talking about, right? All kinds of boundaries.
True.
Doe Sanchez says hi.
Hi,
Doe Sanchez
Doe.
says airing my gassy laundry. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's
So
like
yeah,
that's it's Doe. We have to include gas in there. When I used to work with Doe, I had a coffee cup that looked much like this one. And when I wasn't around it, she would stick like pieces of paper onto it that said like farty McFarty pants or like just stuff to make me laugh. And then I would go back to take a drink and be like, oh, farty McFarty pants. And it just brightened my day. So it's
yeah.
so nice to have you here,
Thanks, Doe. Yeah, we
Joseph.
love Doe too. We love everybody here, and I love Melissa. There you go. I said it.
Oh, Krista
Done
made you
it.
say it though.
Yeah, it's all about what do you call it?
The Ben.
Whoa. It's what happens when you have too many feelings
Oh my goodness, there was hearts on my cheeks just now.
and love for everybody out there.
Ruben, you get fancier and fancier every time I come on the show.
Well, guess what? Guess who else is here?
It's Raquella.
And Salem
Hello,
saying hi to.
beautiful.
Yeah, Salem saying hi to
Salem,
Raquella.
you want to say hi to Raquella? He's feeling a little shy, I think.
And no, I'll behave. No more. No, you can. This is about laundry being aired. So
One time, Doe pulled me aside and she was like, I have this thing I've never told anyone else. Don't ever tell anyone this. But wouldn't that be scary if you were watching a show with your friend on it and then you thought they were about to say a really deep, dark secret of yours and you were like, no. But then they didn't say that. They just joked about saying it. Are you following?
Yeah.
Doe, I got you. I'm not going to air any of your actual dirty
I want to
laundry.
hear it actually.
I don't
Carla
even.
has some hearts. See, we got hearts back.
Oh.
And Amber said,
Oh, nice. North Berkeley is the fanny pack capital of the world.
"See,
Those are my people.
you never know what you can hear on Cali Cocktail Hour, right? The knowledge and
Right? Maybe you were looking to
the
move to the
emojis.
fanny pack capital of the world, and now you know where it is.
So we are going to come back real quick, though. We are going to start out with our first question, so you can have a look real quick. It is before we go back into a song, but this is the question for the day. To look at it, think about it.
Sit with this, you guys. Sit with this. And again, there is no perfect answer. It's like different for all of us. How do you decipher between setting a needed boundary, like a healthy boundary, and then just being a selfish jerk? Like, what's the difference? How do you figure that out?
So we'll come back right now. We're going to go to a song. Everybody, thank you for coming out to Cali Cocktail Hour. I am going to refill my little wine glass right here. What are you drinking? What are you feeling? We have all kinds of stuff. So we're going to come back with a song. And we'll be back. Melissa and I are going to recharge our chi and come back after this song. So sit back, relax. Welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour. And we'll see you here in a second.
Welcome, you guys.
Welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I've been staying strong on my feet, keeping my heels below my knees, but I can't help feeling weak. Every day I wake up, it's harder to breathe. And we've been on the same grid, but you feel so distant. Is it distance that's killing my vision? I can't see a way, making it through this. So tell me you feel the same. Can we just get to the end? I just wanna feel again. I think we've been moving too fast. I just wanna relax. I just wanna relapse. Just wanna think we've been moving too fast. I can't really keep up. I just wanna relapse. Just wanna, yeah, yeah. I think we've been moving too fast. Moving too fast. I think we've been moving too fast. Moving too fast. I think we've been moving too fast. Moving too fast. I think we've been moving too fast. Moving too fast.
Real shit, I ain't got a lot to say. These games that we play only make our hearts ache, and we act like we ain't asked for this pain, and we act like we were willing to change, knowing damn well that we weren't, knowing damn well that we are cursed, knowing damn well how bad it hurts to expose yourself. Someone's too immersed in their own pain to go and fucking feel yours. If my heart wasn't broke, I'd have gladly healed yours, but this ain't real love. We are just children pretending to be grown, so maybe we can feel love, but this ain't that. It's delayed indifference, and I wish it was different, but it just isn't. We're both looking outside ourselves to try and fix the parts of our souls that have wandered up within us.
I think we've been moving too fast. I just wanna relax. I just wanna relapse. Just wanna think we've been moving too fast. I can't really keep up. I just wanna relapse. Just wanna, yeah, yeah.
And we are back.
I like that song.
Yeah, me too. It's from I do a show sometimes on Saturday night is music from Cali Cocktail Hour. All the music that I've that I've searched through and scoured through.
Really?
So that was part of it. Yeah. So I do like an hour show here and there. Just because some of the songs, because I never get to play some of the songs. Some are very sensitive, so I just did a show the other day and cut that piece out to do it too. So, but yeah. So thank you. Yeah. So here we are again. Welcome, everybody. So, how do you decipher between setting a needed boundary and just being a self jerk.
How do you do this, you guys? Does anybody feel like giving this question a gander go? And if not, what do we think, Ruben?
Well, real quick. Hola, how you doing? Let me go back to the questions. um, yeah, sometimes like for me, I'm pretty patient. It takes a lot for me to set a boundary, but when I do, I really, really do, and because I think about it too much, right? I think about like, am I being selfish, or do I not want to be part of this, or you know what I mean? And so it takes me a little bit to figure that out about how to set that boundary, because um, I usually take it to the anger part where I'm like, fuck it, I'm done, you know. So
Mm. So you don't
yeah,
build like a fence that you walk behind and say, here's my fence. It's more like a brick wall. Like, I'm done. This relationship is over.
yeah. And Chris, hi Chris, how you doing? I'm gonna
Is
dive
it
right into it.
is it Chris that I
Uh,
know? Oh, it's Chris.
yes,
Hi.
yeah.
Can you give an example? Yeah, I can give an example.
Yeah.
It's kind of a heavy one, but I think it's my biggest example of a boundary that I set that was really hard. And sometimes I still doubt, but it was what it was. So, a needed boundary versus being selfish. So, when my mom was toward the end of her life, she, I loved her so much. I love her so much, as all of you know who know me. But she was also really struggling, and I was newly sober, and I was really struggling. And she had some issues that were hard for me to be near. And when I was near them, they were like really exacerbating stuff that I was already struggling with. So I had decided I'm not going to answer the phone every time she calls. I'm not going to go over there every time she asks me to. I'm going to, how did I do it? I decided I was going to see her only on Sundays and then just like not be available all the time. And that was hard because I was raised by, for one, I love her a lot and it was hard to watch her struggle. And she was highly herself. So even though, for example, her mother had been really horrific to her, she had always put up with it and been there. So for me to like start setting this boundary was hard. And after I said it, not too long after, she died, like unexpectedly. I've talked about she called me the night that she died and I didn't answer. And even though in retrospect it is gutting sometimes to think, gosh, to that night, if I had seen her more, if I had cheered her up that night, there's such a connection between the body and the heart and the mind. There's a lot of like struggle I've had with that boundary. But if I really put myself back in that version of myself where I was newly sober and I really needed to be around, and I don't mean like just because you're struggling, it doesn't mean that you can't be around pain. But anyway, I hope this is clear. Like, that's an example for me that I put up a pretty clear boundary and then stood behind it. And it didn't exactly go well, but it was what it was. And it felt really necessary at the time. So hopefully, Chris, that kind of makes sense. Like, again, I know that's a really heavy one, but it might mean you have a friend who always wants to talk and you're like, oh, I love you, but talk for 3 hours a day, every day. Maybe your boundary is I answer the phone twice a week. They think it's shitty. They think you're being selfish, or you think you're being selfish because you've been so available for them. That's where you get to decide, okay, who do I want to be? Do I want to be someone who is angry and resentful and answering my phone and talking for 3 hours every day? Is this something I really want to do? Maybe I really want to be this kind of friend that is always there and I want to stand behind that. Or maybe this is a I want to put up and
Well,
consequences.
here's an answer for you. Or
Yeah. So, Chris, I did the same with my mom. I told her not to call me. When I was ready, I would call. It took a year. It must have been hard for her, but she respected my request. When we reconnected, it was much better. Wow. So that's awesome. You have a perfect example of that then. I told her not to call me when I was ready for her. So it took you a year to become ready. And I think that where people struggle, Chris, and I don't know that you struggled here, but this is where I struggled, is like in that boundary when you put it up And then that year is going by, and maybe mom is depressed, or mom is lonely, or insert your situation here. Standing in your truth and not deciding you're either a totally shitty person for having a boundary, or deciding, you know what, maybe this isn't the hill I want to die on. Maybe I would rather available. It's that's why I think this is complex. We get to decide where
Yeah,
the line is.
and like you said, things happen. I mean, we're going to happen anyways, right? And I'm glad that you don't beat yourself up over it. You, Melissa, too, because you and Chris had the different kind of reactions, not reactions, but outcomes, so to speak. Like it took a year before his mom came back, and your mom passed away. Because, it is hard to set a boundary. I mean, and it is, because you never know what the outcome is, but it's if it's healthier for you at that point, then it's much needed, I think. And, I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, but at some point we can't fear that either.
Yeah.
Because, because it does take a lot out of you in order to set a boundary too, right? Because there's a reason why you're setting a boundary. Because either something's, and, I've had that happen with some family members too. And we'll go on to the next question too, about that, setting the boundary and why, why you need that. Because, I always try to be, and so you, and I'm sure all of us try to be compassionate toward that other person. Like, okay, how much can I take? What's going to happen? Why, and I think that, we just have to look at ourselves for that too. So, yeah. So thanks, Chris, for sharing that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. It definitely, it definitely depends, I think, depending on the person and depending on the situation. And I have to pause us really fast because I actually asked Michael to let Tilly come in and say goodnight to me.
Uh-oh.
Tilly, come here.
Yeah, Tilly. I think this is Tilly's first showing.
It
there
is.
You go.
This is Tilly.
Hey, Tilly. How you doing?
Here, I'm going to take my headphones off. Hear you. Say hi, Ruben.
Hi, Tilly.
Hi, Tilly.
Yeah, say, how's it going?
Are you going to sleep? Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have a great sleep tonight. You're gonna sleep so good tonight.
Gosh, we hope. She didn't go to bed till like 11 last night, so we don't really know what's happening. Oh, someone said you're precious. Yeah, you are. You want to touch the computer, but we're not going to touch it.
Good night, Tilly. Everybody's saying good night to you.
Good night.
Nice curls too. That's what I heard.
I know her hair keeps getting more and more curly. This is the part I'm afraid of, is when you walk out with her. So let's.
Ashley's here.
Oh, hi. Ashley has a daughter the same-ish age as Tilly. Hi, you met her when you were really little. Are you ready to go with Daddy? Are you ready to go?
Bye, Tilly.
I should probably mute this because it's gonna get.
Oh, it's okay. This is part of the. Yeah. We need the producer back here. We need the producer to.
You have a poo-poo in your pants. I can smell it.
I think so too. Bye, Tilly. It's going to be a beautiful night. We're going to sleep so good.
It's going to be so good. Oh,
yeah.
I knew that was going to happen, but I didn't really get to say goodnight to her when I was heading in.
That's perfect. It's a good
yeah, thanks for that little interlude. It wasn't on the set list, but I think it belongs on the set list.
Yeah. So we have Raquel said, love it.
Oh, thank you. Raquel has actually gotten to meet Tilly, which is kind of nice.
Oh, good. So so boundaries, right? We go to that again. We're going to go to a little bit of I'm going to change it up a little bit. I want to bring up some of the new live streams that are coming up real quick, and then we'll switch it out real quick. We're going to flip the switch just a second there, because I like to thank everyone for coming out tonight too. And there's a lot of new, really cool live stream shows that I think people would be very interested in, and I've my friends too. So in the morning at 10 o'clock ish during the time, Andre DeFay, who is the poet laureate of Sacramento, has a live stream. He was part of the Artist Corps too, but he has it's called The Great Joy Hunt. It's at 10 a.m. Just look for your joy, find your joy. Awesome show. Great way to wake up in the morning too. And he also has a show which is awesome too. Really cool show. It's called Maxed Up, and it's a community health show at 8 o'clock on Monday nights. and he is working with Senator Pan and Project Us. And he has some really. I watched his show last weekend. Some really good doctors. He had a doctor, a street medicine, which is a new kind of. He works with the homeless, and he goes and he was working. He was from USC. Really nice guy too. A really cool guy.
Yeah.
And then we have my friend.
Show. Would we just go to his?
Yeah, actually, because
and...
yes, and we'll go to his page and his personal pages. That's the time the show's on that. But I'm gonna next week. I'm gonna actually make a graphic so people can see where to go. I kind of was pushing it in there. I'm like, oh yeah, because there's a lot of cool stuff going on. And on Thursday nights we have Chico Gonzalez, who does Raza y Rolas, and that is a show that goes next week. You can have DJs on, but just playing Mexican music and kind of art and stuff like that. But he also had Brown Issues, which dealt with immigration, and some of the stories are pretty sad, and it's a very great way to. He had a homeless advocate last night, and people really emoted to that, so that's a beautiful thing. So that's Chico on Thursday nights, and go to his personal page because that's where they're at right now. And of course, Teresa has her own live streaming now. I don't know the name of it, but I know it has to do with wellness and good energy and, kind of what we all are. But it starts at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
So if you get up early and you want to start with a really calming, peaceful vibe.
Yeah. So, yeah, it is. She does a lot of stuff tomorrow. And then my friend Uli Mueller, who is, and I have a show called Welcome to My Brain, and he is actually he does what I do with this show. He does all the graphics and everything else on his show up as a puppet and a weird voice. He does a lot of awesome production. It is it's an awesome show. It's all in animation. It's puppets, and I would say puppets, but they're animated characters, and political, funny, weird. I would say weird is the good one. And that is on Wednesday nights at 9:00. And I was starting to share it on my page. I started this week, and usually it's on Twitch and Facebook, and those are the at least one of the the links. But I'll get better at the links too. So if anybody out there come out, there's really live streaming now is really starting to pop off, and people are having fun with it. And we mess up and we have fun, but those for sure will all start, giving them better. If you want to know more, just message me on Facebook or something like that, and I get that to you. So that's good. Yeah. So we have a couple of comments in here. You see, Chico is here.
Oh, nice.
Chico has done an awesome show. He picked it up so good, and now his graphics are awesome. So yeah,
I'll have to check it out.
He had a He had to set boundaries yesterday with someone on his stream too.
Really?
Yeah, but
what happened?
We had that too one time.
Remember,
I had to ban someone. So yeah, but it's good. You set your boundaries. You use technology for that. I got to show him how to do that though too. Jared?
Yeah, actually, that's a really great point. Boundaries often do have to happen around technology, especially with yeah. Oh, hi, Jared.
Hey, Jared. Better late than never. Hey, y'all. How you doing?
Glad
yes, and I was going to ask for that too. Oh, thanks for that. Yeah, you're welcome, Chico. I just got to teach you the ban button. Because, I thought about that too. We thought about hey, what about social media? I've had to do that a couple of times, set those boundaries and, so, we got to that point. So, yeah. And
that's a really interesting topic.
Well, I was going to throw that in there after the second one because I was like, and I'll give you an example of what I had to do to to set that boundary. It was a very hard boundary. So anyways, thank you for everybody for coming out to Cali Cocktail Hour. Thank you for Melissa for showing up. Tilly, we have a Tilly sighting for the first time ever on Cali Cocktail Hour, so that's good.
She's famous in name, but now her face is famous too.
Yeah. So up next is a piece, and it's different vibrational beings, right? And it's from a series from the Oprah Super Soul collection, Super Soul Sunday Conversations collection. I'll probably mess it up. But it is Dr. Michael Beckwith, and talking about vibrations and what we are right now. So you can either watch the graphic that I made, it should be hypnotic, or put you in a mode, or you close your eyes and listen. Because I have to, every night I listen to something on before I go to bed, because I had to reformat my brain because of all the stuff that I watched before. Like if I watch
blood and gore and But all the day
Hey,
stuff, I think that is a good idea.
hey,
It's
Lynn.
Lynn.
How you doing? Lynn, we're going to show the doggies a little bit, so and I did it better this time, so we can see the dogs for the old dukers, as we call them.
The old Dougars.
Yeah. So it's about 3 minutes long, and I like to think of Cali Cocktail Hour as a full-length album, which is a lost art. There was an article in the other day about the art of listening to an album, right? It's a lost art because it's got to be 2 minutes long because people don't have the attention span, or so this is a long formatted show, and we do have to change it up a little bit with little segments here and there. But when people talk about Cali Cocktail Hour, I try to explain to them that this is a vibrational community. We don't see each other. When I do an invite, I always say, I'll see you at 9. I'll see you at 9 o'clock. What I want to say, I'll feel you at 9 o'clock. But I was like, I don't know if people know me that well to say that, right?
I might take it the wrong way.
Yeah, and so really, and so, but I do feel that, I feel like we are a community, and we are, at this point, we're vibrating out, right? And this is us, and I feel everybody out there, and we love everybody for coming here. But this is an excerpt from a series that she does, and so we'll go back, listen, and we'll come back. But I would, either watch the video or close your eyes and just get immersed in it, and we'll come back. So this is it.
I'm excited for this.
Michael Beckwith. Let's talk about vibration. You use it a lot in your teaching, and I noticed, like everybody at Agape is on the same vibrational frequency and using that language. And I don't know when it was I first got it, that there is an energy and a frequency to everything.
Yes.
And that your whole role and goal in life is to line up with whatever is the frequency that is going to allow you to move in the flow of your own life. How did you discover this?
It's back in the 80s I started using that terminology because I became aware that we are vibrational beings. We're not just flesh and blood. If you put anything under an intense microscope, you can ultimately see that everything is vibration. And as the scientists are now telling us, there's information there, but it's not solid. It's all moving. So we're vibrational beings. So as you were just saying, when we lift our vibration to what we want to experience, it happens first on a vibratory level, and then it shows up and manifests in our life. So people who are holding on to rancor, animosity, they're slowing down their vibration.
Okay, just had an aha there. You're actually, when you recognize your vibrational frequency, you're drawing into yourself all the time, literally, the vibration that is most like what you're putting out.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Another way of saying is you cannot have what you're not willing to become vibrationally.
Ah.
If you do get it, you'll lose it.
Ah.
You see, this is why people, they'll win the lottery and they lose everything, or they'll finally get the person they think they want to be with. They can't keep the relationship, or they'll get a modicum of success but can't hold on to it because inside they weren't vibrationally aligned. They really hadn't become it. So you can temporarily manipulate and get things, but to have it completely, you have to lift your vibration and become that in vibration.
Oh, that's so good. You need to repeat it. That is so good. Isn't that look, hallelujah, hallelujah. That is so good.
You're not really attracting things to you. You're really radiating. It's really a radiation.
I could cry right now. I felt that so strongly. Yeah. That's going to resonate with a lot of people.
Yeah, you're radiating it from within out. It's like if I become the vibrational frequency of love, harmony, peace, and I'm radiating that.
That's the key.
It's going to show up in my life.
That's the key. Yeah. That's the word. You're not attracting it. You have to be it and radiate it, and then it is drawn to you.
Right.
And you to it. So then the work then becomes about you working on yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to like yourself when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
You have to like yourself. I mean, when you're by yourself, you have to look at those thoughts, the beautiful thoughts, the crazy thoughts. You have to embrace yourself. You have to forgive yourself. You have to love yourself. And when you can fall in love with yourself and like yourself when you're by yourself, now you can be with others. But if you don't like yourself when you're by yourself, then you're pulling on others to make you happy.
And we're back.
Oh my God. I love Oprah so much.
I
I feel
do.
like I
I
get excited with her.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Oprah is going to be yeah, the spiritual guru of everybody. But she, it's cool about hers because she does talk about her manifestations and stuff that she does and how she's full of EQ. Like she knew that she wasn't the smartest person, but she found out she had all the EQ. I'm like, perfect, right? And
Mm.
but I think it's curious to see, like we talk about, here how we do vibrate out, right? And Cali Cocktail Hour, whatever it was in the beginning, started out like that too. With we're just trying to emote out there and just being ourselves. But I thought it was interesting when he said, if you don't like yourself, oh no, we're all learning to be ourselves now, right? We're all learning to because time has slowed down for all of us. So we're sitting with ourselves now and trying to like ourselves is I think a work that we're all a work in progress. So I
Without the
think
usual distractions.
yeah,
Yeah.
without the yeah, and I remember that in Buddhism that they talk about the reason why we don't like silence is because, or we had to be distracting. We don't like silence because we have to deal with ourselves when it's silent. So we're always distracting ourselves from work, going here, here, here. So we don't have to, really sit with ourselves and talk about all these, because I have like these weird thoughts too. Like, I'm not like, oh, it's going to be great tomorrow, but I'm like, what the fuck am I thinking about? But I let myself do that. I'm like, okay, well, that's strange. Or, and it's like you learn to live with yourself. You learn, and you really try to, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I try to work on myself all the time, especially now.
Mm.
So,
So here's
yeah,
something I hear people struggle with a lot regarding that video. And
yeah,
this is both I've struggled with this,
yeah,
my friends, and a lot of the clients I work with struggle with this. So you hear something like that and you're like, oh, so in order to get the things I say I want, I need to vibrate at that place, right? So if I say I want a healthy relationship, I need to vibrate health and love and peace, right? Or, whatever it is. But how do you actually do that if you're currently like super unhappy, hate your body, hate your job, all you've ever had is heartbreak? Like basically the how. People get really stuck with the how.
yeah, and I think that what he's saying, well, what is the point? The point is to work on yourself so you can get to that point, right? And you always have to like surrender to what you think because a lot of times we're not geared to have those thoughts, right? It's always like, no, be happy, don't worry, right? And it is, no, we do have these thoughts. We do. I mean, I had thoughts of self-hate all the time, right? I had it all, like, so I know that, and it was a long time before I started liking myself, but I had to put in that work too, and I'm not saying that everybody has, I'm not gonna, what do you call it, over trauma. you know I had more trauma than you did, right? I
Mm.
don't think that too, but I did grow up with trauma. I did grow up with a lot of stuff, right? And I know that I ran away from a lot of stuff. I know that I tried to be someone I wasn't, so to speak, without even putting the work in. By reading a book, I'm like, I'm fixed, right? Right?
Yeah.
But I was like, no, 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 that's not the point. Uh,
Yeah.
but it is, to me, it's like I get the point now where I'm like, okay, if I align myself, I just had a conversation with Lynn the other day. I was like, I align myself with people that I know that are nice, right? And I know that they're good people, and like everybody on here, good vibrations. I'll take a recommendation from you. I'm not I'm at a point in my life where I don't need to be around assholes anymore. Like,
Mm.
okay, you want to be funny, blah blah blah, but if you're an ass, like, I don't want to be around you. I don't, you know what I mean? Like to sit uncomfortably in a crowd of people because the way you are. I'm like, no, I'd rather not. And I'd rather just be with good people. So
Yeah. I
it
do
is,
just want
yeah,
to offer, like, just to add to what you said, I think that when we talk about, get excited at this idea of really changing your whole life by changing the way that you vibrate and the way that you show up.
yeah,
I think that working on yourself is the ticket. And I also think that can be a really esoteric idea because it's like, well, what does that mean? And I have worked on myself and I still feel shitty. And so I just want to offer and I like a kind of distilled down version of what I think can help in those moments. And I practice this all the time because I struggle with this. even while working off. And that is like whatever it is that you want to do in life or have in life or feel, really that's what you tap into is like, okay, let's say that I want to be a millionaire. Why do I want to be a well, because I want to, like, I'll just use my example. I want to be able to, have a flexible schedule. I want to spend time with my kids. I want that freedom. I want the security. I want
Yeah.
that, maybe the confidence I think comes from having financial abundance. I want abundance. And so I want these feelings. And so then I sit with those feelings and I say, okay, so freedom, security and safety, abundance, confidence, those are feelings. How do I generate those right now in my like tiny room where I am definitely not a millionaire, in my
Yeah.
small business that is not yet that successful, depending on how you define success.
Yeah.
And then what you do is small actions and small meditations and moments every day of like accessing that feeling, even if it's just for a couple minutes or a couple moments, and practicing that feeling on for size and remembering that like you can get all those things, whatever those things are, and still not feel freedom and still not feel, the more money you have, the more money you have to lose. That's like he was talking about. There's people that get all the things that they want and then they lose them. So
Yeah.
I guess I just offer that as like, I can get really frustrated with like, but how do you do it? So I just like that little tool. Like you just practice it every day, even just for 5 minutes. Like
Yeah.
one of my clients right now, her homework every night is to sit in her ideal life. And like, how does it feel? What feelings are running through her body? How does that feel in her body? What is she doing every day? And that can feel like a pointless 5 minutes if you're like, yeah, I got to do shit though to get that life. I need to go write
Yeah.
the book. I need to go work out. And it's like, no, like bring those feelings in, make your why really big. Does that make sense? Is that
Yeah.
kind of cool?
No, it does. And like I said, it's little things, it's, I call it poco a poco, little by little now in my life. Like I work on things little by little. And I'm not thinking about the grandeur in life. I thought about when I was younger, I want to be this. And like, I would have been dead when I was in a band and I wanted to be a rock star. I would have been dead. I
And
know
you've
that.
gotten that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not ready. I wasn't ready for that. I know that in my life, right? There's some things so like I said, I started out with the little things, right? When I was depressed, I started out with the smile. Thich Nhat Hanh. I wake up, I smile, even if it was fake. It was fake for a long time. And eventually it became a real smile, And, I battled with this darkness, and you know what? The darkness is my friend now, right? Because we became friends. We're like, okay, when I wake up in the morning, I scan my body. I'm like, okay, we're anxious. Okay, what are we anxious about? Okay, is that really a big deal? No. We're just anxious. So, it's like when you take a bath, right? You run the water, it's so hot, but then you get in the water and it's not so hot anymore. You get used to it. Your body gets used to it. And that's how I feel like I do. I mean, it's not like I made this huge jump from one vibration to another. But I've had to work on it for over 20, 30 years. It was not like, oh my God, now I feel these vibrations and I'm great. It doesn't work that way. Nothing works that way. You know what I mean? It is a lifetime thing and it's still going on, right? I still am not stopping. I'm not stopping learning. I'm not stopping with my vibrations. What I have done is taken stuff out of my life that I don't need anymore. Like people that, drag me down, people
Boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries, right? And I don't need that. I'm creating my own boundaries, so to speak, as I'm going into my life now. I'm like, do I need that anymore? No, I don't. Do you need that anymore? And so, that's kind of like what I see that point at, it's like I get where someone is in a different position, right? Oh, and, it's like we talked about a little about the law of attractions. We're like, well, you're vibrating in that level. I'm like, no, that has nothing to do with it, right? It's just you're in a shitty, crappy situation. Yeah, sometimes we put ourselves in that too, right? I've done it to myself. Like I think we all have,
Yeah.
We put ourselves in that position. Now sometimes it's time that we have to help ourselves out too, but sometimes other people help us, and we have to be open to that too. So
Oh yeah.
yeah,
That's like they're like the sandpaper that grind us down into like our version of ourselves that hopefully we want to be, right?
yeah. So how's everybody out there? Yeah. And, but it's a great conversation, to have that too of like different, we talk about Instagram stars and marketing of like this wellness and, I feel in the vibrations. This is why it drives me nuts to see that stuff, because I know it's not true. Like it's a marketing skill. A lot of these sayings are marketing sayings. They're not even like, they're not rooted in anything. I'm like, I'm doing great, right? And like, okay, you're not doing that great. You look
That's
crazy.
great.
I don't know if you saw that. There was a depression drug out there, and it was one of those commercials. And she was, not doing a great job. She was like just sad, and all of a sudden she took this pill, and she's like, oh my god, she's dancing in the streets and like all this stuff. I'm like, that makes you look crazier than you actually are. And I think like,
ecstasy? Did she take ecstasy?
yeah, I see people like, running, like doing these, Instagram posts that like they're jumping in the air with a big smile. I'm like, okay, do you really do that in life? I've never seen you do that in life.
That's all
right?
I do all day,
Yeah,
personally.
yeah. So,
Just jump in the air.
and it is hard to distinguish between different, what we talk about, modalities or vibrations or all these sayings that, we're probably more, we see a lot more of too. So,
Yeah.
so
I feel like a really good commercial for depression would be for someone to be like, my life sucks, and just like really depressed. But then they take a selfie and they're like, hey guys, just hanging out. And then they put their phone back down. They're like, my life still sucks, but Instagram doesn't. And they wouldn't Instagram.
Yeah,
But it's like,
well,
that's how it is a lot. Like some of the best times, some of the worst times in my life, especially like 10 years ago, my Facebook looked polished. And I say that absolutely no idea how it actually looked, but I felt like I was putting forth, like, we've talked about that on the show
yeah,
before. Yeah. So
I'm great. Everything's awesome, right?
everything's good. I'm
Yeah.
just like so
Well, look
chill.
at here.
Ooh, I need to come back to our StreamYard screen.
Sorry, Zara.
Zara. Hello, Zara.
Yeah.
Always happy to see your face.
So let's go in. We're going to change up a little bit. Go back to the animals that need to be adopted, so we can get back to our questions.
Awesome.
How does that sound to you?
Let's do it.
So this is brought to you by Lynn Mayuba, who gave me the information, and she works at, or she used to volunteer there when pre-COVID happened. But
Thank you, Lynn.
yeah, so correspondence and co-host, and but yes, so these two are their adoptions are paid for already, and they're ready to go. And if you need a dog right now, it would be perfect. These two are pretty sweet, and Melissa's going to give you the lowdown on who they are and how they can help you with your
I'm
life.
giving the doggy lowdown.
There it is, the doggy lowdown.
Woof, there it is. Okay, so first of all, it's my left, I assume other people's left, is Diamond. I can't read the part at the top. Can you read that, Ruben?
Yes. My name is Diamond, and I'm a spayed female, tan and white dogu Radu mix.
Ah,
The shelter thinks that I'm 5 years old.
but secretly I'm 7.
Yes.
It just doesn't actually say that, you guys. She's 5.
And she's available for adoption. And if you're interested in meeting her, please email animalsupport@cityofsacramento.org and include your name, your phone number, and your animal ID, and we will contact you to schedule to meet her. Right?
Aww.
Yes. So she's been at the shelter since November 20th, 2020. So, and she is already been paid for her adoption. So she is personality. Diamonds are the girl's best friend. This lovely lady is full of spunk. She has been doing really good here at Front Street, but really like to sparkle over her own home and her own people. She loves being scratched and doted on while wagging her tail the entire time. She is super sweet and one of a kind. What do you think?
That's super sweet.
She's unsure at first, like me, but then she'll warm up and show you her sweet personality. So she's not outgoing with dogs, though. She prefers people, which is good. Small animals, no small animals. She's a prey drive for
If you have
small
cats,
dogs.
don't get Diamond.
Yeah.
It sounds like she'd be perfect for a family that just wants like an animal
Yeah.
and doesn't have little kids, because she's better with teenagers. It looks like that she looks super cute.
Yeah, she got moderate energy, food obsession, not seen at the shelter, separation anxieties, I don't know, potty trained, yes. Special gift for adopter, so that's good.
Awesome. Diamond, I hope you find a home. If anyone watching is intrigued by Diamond, where can they follow up about this, Ruben?
The animal shelter at animal support at cityofsacramento.org. And you can either email us or get a hold of me on Facebook here, and I can tell you the rest on there too, and get you that on there. So
Okay, awesome.
Diamond needs a home. Diamond needs a home.
And then we
Yeah.
have Sammy.
Sammy is a neutered male, black and white pit bull terrier mix. The shelter thinks I'm about 3 years old. I'm at the read in Sammy's. I'm available for adoption. If you're interested in meeting me, please email me at animalsupport@cityofsacramento.org. Include your name, phone number, and animal ID, and we will contact you about an appointment. I've been in the shelter. Sorry, an appointment. That's why I don't read this stuff.
I didn't even know this.
So I've been at the shelter since July 2020, and for more, yes, this information is 1 hour old, so probably about 5 hours old now. So the best way to describe Sammy,
totally changed since
yeah,
then.
he's a very excitable puppy with much older body. He's full of curiosity, exciting, and an energy match with a 2-month-old puppy. With the mindset, he often has his own paws and mouth and getting more rowdy as usual. Getting his attention and directing his energy is out in healthy ways helps him flourish with his personality. So it looks like he's a cool guy. Regular exercise for him is great in the long run. He can get a little startled if you sneak up to him and touch him. It's important to let him know your presence before engaging in him. Sounds like me. That's my personality too.
I know.
He's
I
a sweet
can so
boy.
relate to Sammy.
What's that?
I can so relate to Sammy.
Yeah, he's a sweet boy and be good for home ready for someone with special needs. There you go.
Oh, nice.
His personality is mellow and a treat lover. This guy, through it, he is looking for a special place that he can live in a lap of luxury, which Nugget truly deserves. So he's a good dog. So anybody out there?
Anybody out there want Sammy?
Or knows people, someone wants Sammy, so yeah.
Yeah, right. We never know who this show's going to reach.
That's right. Remember, we got that cat. We found a home for that cat. That's what we wanted to do. That's our claim.
Responsible.
So,
of history, Ruben.
That's right. So how is everybody doing out there? Welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour. And our subject tonight with Miss Melissa Pennell is boundaries, right?
People are kind of quiet tonight. I wonder if it's the topic or just like the feeling of the night, you know?
I don't know,
It's
maybe
interesting.
They're just sitting back and relaxing.
They're just like, chill, talk to me about boundaries. My boundary is that I'm not going to comment. That's my boundary, Melissa.
There you go, see? So what is next?
All right, the next question. When have you had to put up a boundary that felt really uncomfortable for you, and how did you do it?
Shall I go?
Yeah, I have one for this one too, so I'm happy to go.
Oh, well, ladies first or headbands first?
Why don't you go? I want to hear yours.
Okay, mine has to do. Okay, I'll go. Now, mine has to do with my, with my father. My father and I did not have a good relationship. That's known on this show. But, one of my family members is always like, you got to go talk to your dad. Every time we call, we talk and like, you have to go talk to your dad, blah, blah, blah. He's doing this, and that. And it was always about that. That's how the conversation always started. And so at some point, I started getting really comfortable with, not uncomfortable with, just, I think I should say annoyed with it. Just because I was like, okay, I'm not going to call you if you keep bringing this up. So,
with that family member?
Yeah. So at one point I got really annoyed and I'm like, I was taking a walk and I was taking my meditative walk. I had these Tibetan things on, Tibetan bowls on the background so I can hear, but I decided to make a phone call. And I'm like, and he goes to me, so you're taking a walk, huh? He's like, yeah, guess what? Our dad's taking a walk and that's kind of cool. You guys should take a walk together. I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Right? And I'm like, and at that time I had to, it took me that long to go, you know what, dude, I can't have this phone conversation every time we talk. My boundary, you know what I mean? And I said, don't talk to me don't ask me about that anymore, or else I'm not going to call as much, right? Because I don't want to hear about this. Let everything flow naturally. We all have like our own separate traumas, right? And we all have to deal with things on our own. And he has a heart, so that wasn't like he was being an ass or anything like that. So I knew that was coming from his heart rather than, being a pain in the ass, right? So I was able to let that go. But still, I had to set a boundary for that too. And it did feel uncomfortable, but it just felt right at that point. So, and I do that every
Mm.
couple of months.
With that person.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
because it does
That's a
come up
good
little by
point about
little.
that's a
Yeah.
good point too, is that often we have to redraw them because it's like you're drawing it with chalk and at first it's really clear and then time goes on and it gets kind of like a little bit runny and you have to be like, hey, this is still how I feel.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, how was that for you? Like um the conversation itself. Did you have any thoughts like, oh gosh, I shouldn't say this to this person? Like, was it difficult to set that boundary?
No, I think the conversation went pretty good. I think because like I will sit back and kind of listen to that person over and over again until it gets to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm done. And I think people understand with me that when I'm done, I'm done. Like
Mm-hmm.
I will say something like, okay, and they're like, oh, okay. It's like when I tell people like when you don't yell a lot, like if you're a boss or a leader, I should say, and you're really helping out and trying to like understand people and all this stuff, but then you get irritated at some point, then you kind of raise your voice a little bit, and they're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
shoot, I hit that threshold. That's kind of I am in my life. Like people know that for me, like if I hit a threshold, then they know that it's taken me a lot to get to that point, and I will
Mm.
set it and I will lock it, and
And
then
then you'll drop it.
you'll understand it. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah. 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 Well, I think that's a really great example. I think that I mean, has the relationship with this person been better since you laid
oh yeah,
that?
yeah, yeah. But like I said,
Yeah.
it's every couple of months because then it gets little by little more and more. I'm like, hey, didn't we talk about this already?
Like
But
this is still
like I
how
said,
I feel.
and like I said, if it didn't come from the heart, then it would have been a different situation.
Mm.
It's like what?
If your statement didn't come from the heart.
No, if the other person's,
Ah,
if it wasn't like I knew they had a heart and they were just doing because of some sort of like wanting everybody to get together, then it would have
get
been a different story.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike the social media, boundary that I had to do with somebody, which I didn't really know that much, and
Mm. Oh yeah.
and so
What was your Via story?
oh that one I was during the Trump administration, of course. You know how everything was highlighted, and I did a Trump piece, which was a Mexican loteria, which there's a character in loteria is El Borracho, the drunk guy, right? And so I put Trump's face on it. Me, my this guy from Mexico, another artist. Um, we put Trump's face on it. We put drunk on power on the bottle, and it was El Borracho, he's a drunk on power. And
Mm.
so someone wrote to me like, "Hey Ruben, usually your artwork's very, very pretty and very nice, but I think what you did was ugly, and it was. I mean, people are so mean nowadays, and I can't believe you did that. And usually you do some good stuff." I'm like, "Okay," and I was like, "Okay." So this person is a customer at a restaurant, right? And
Mm.
so I just wrote back to her. I'm like, "Look, if you're okay with supporting someone who can't denounce white supremacy, that's you. That's not me." I go, and as an artist, we're out. We need to be out there and saying stuff about this stuff. We need to create stuff that says this. We have a different language, and and I had to set that boundary really quick and really hard. And other things that I
Mm.
said to her, I wasn't mean. I just said, like if this is what you believe in and you feel great about yourself, then that's great. But I don't, and this is how I feel. So don't come at me about this and tell me that I need to be. I mean, I thought it was nice, right? For someone who bullies everybody every night. Right? It's the
Oh
irony
yeah.
of it. So the irony is lost on me. I'm like, okay. But
Yeah.
that's also setting a boundary on social media to people you don't really talk to that much, too. Like they think they know
Mm-hmm.
you and they're like, you don't have the right to talk, to tell me, especially about my artwork, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was a hard boundary to set, and she wrote back and she was graceful, about it too. So, I have no hard feelings about it. I just had to set that boundary, and they know not to do that again. It's not
Mm.
like I'm not going to
Yeah.
talk to them anymore. I just, it is what it was. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like a lot of us were probably in that situation for a long time. I don't know about you, but it's almost felt like I've noticed in the last couple weeks, by no means is the world completely better or even greatly changed. Like it just feels more hopeful with the new administration.
Yes.
But I've realized that there was this kind of sick part of me, like for anyone who's ever been in like an abusive relationship, whether that was a family relationship or like relationship, that then when it's over, you're like, wait, where's all the chaos? And like, what do I listen to at night if I'm not getting all pissed off listening to the radio? And really, you and I talked about that
Yeah.
wasn't the best pattern for me or anyone, but it's almost like someone got us hooked on this really fucked up drug. And
Yeah.
then we're like, I just want to get off this drug. And then we finally got off of it. And I've just felt like this strange, wait, okay, so obviously, again, there's a ton of stuff we need to dismantle and reconfigure society.
Yeah.
But both can be true. That it's also, it feels weird to have all that chaos not in our headlines. Like, what?
Well,
You know?
I was telling someone like I'm gonna go back to my childhood, right? So once my dad was taken away by the cops, right? And I'm like, he's gone. Right? It's awesome, right? It's awesome because when you are abused, psychologically or physically, when the abuser leaves, you don't even the person like who was also in the situation um, didn't know how much it still lingered on, right? And I think that as a society, even the people that supported him in the middle, people that were like kind of like, well, I'm voting for this, and this, and they, is that once an abuser leaves, maybe about a month, you'll start realizing like, oh my God, I don't have to live with that anymore, right? 'Cause after the initial shock is wore off, like you start to see the kind of the you don't have to be yelled at anymore. All that kind of energy leaves, and you're like, oh shit, and that's why I feel right now. I feel it when I saw it. I was like, okay, I don't have to hear Twitter anymore. I don't have to hear this stuff
Mm-hmm.
anymore. I don't have to hear people talking about it. And I think that's we're all like in some way abused, and
Yeah.
I mean in that kind of psychological thing, because that's what the reign of what people try to do like that. They try just to dismantle your thinking, and you have to be strong, to
Totally.
survive that.
And there's like another pattern, part of that where this reign of abuse finally ends, but then you're like, well, that's what I'm used to,
Yeah,
especially for children that grew up
yeah,
in situations like this. Often that's how we end up seeking out other patterns in life that are like chaotic and toxic. And so it's like this unconscious, speaking to vibrations again. And this
yeah,
isn't at all victim blaming. I'm not saying like they just need to vibrate at a higher level,
yeah,
these abused children. No, but it's kind of recognizing that I think even as a society, even people who never supported him
yeah,
also need to get to this place of like, all right, let's exercise this demon and
yeah.
then get to work.
And I think
But
I think they will. I think that they just didn't realize what was because you're so used to it. At least this is
yeah.
like I agree, and I think that and there was an article about how to do how to deal with people in QAnon, right? How to deal with to talk to them.
Oh, that's what you brought up earlier. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I had a couple of relatives that were into that belief, right? Oh, and I was just like, okay, real quick, Zara's is so true.
Mm,
But in the belief of QAnon, like all these conspiracy theories and I mean crazy stuff, right? And so I had to like stop. There was another boundary. I just said I can't. We're not gonna talk. We're not gonna do this conversation, because it became a social media, Instagram messaging back and forth. I go, look, if you either talk to me or don't talk to me, but don't come out with social media stuff with all these facts
mm,
that right? And so, but that's another one, how to talk to people like that too, which is, you don't just shut them off. You don't just say, hey, you're full of shit. You should check your facts. That's not what that's not what it's worried about. It becomes almost like a mental issue that you have to deal with. And,
mm.
so you have to, I mean, it's hard, I looked at some of the stuff and to me, it was like, okay, it's compassionate listening, right? I have to listen to what they have to say. I just don't have the energy right now to do that. I just
Yeah.
I need some time away from this whole thing, right? So
Yeah. And
and
that's respecting your own. I mean, that's kind of a boundary right there. Yeah.
yeah, and like I said, I think that a lot of people who don't understand that this is, I mean, I'm not, what they say, what they're going through is going from someone who was, like I said, in abused as a kid, in a in a psychological way, that once you get away from it, you start to realize, like, I didn't need to be there, or I didn't need to, I mean, of course I had no choice, but you don't know how good it is just to not hear that stuff. And I'm talking about vibrations as far as like speaking and words and all that stuff takes effect on you. So, and which was the administration's theory is getting all these words and just, all this stuff, it's all vibrations, right? You talk about this stuff and it's like, it was bound to, it's art of manipulation. Get your brain fixed on one thing, and then all of a sudden it was another thing, and you kind of you're kind of like chasing your tail for 4 years.
You know what I think it was too, as we're talking, is that so many of us became desensitized, might be the wrong word, because I was just consistently outraged and feeling hopeless often when it came to laws and immigration, and so I think to go from that to, I'm not saying people should be like, I feel so much hope now, because there's a lot that's still wrong. But when you've gone through that long, just kind of surviving all these horrific pieces of news every day, I remember stuff about the climate that would just break my heart.
Yeah.
Then it does take almost like a waking up of ourselves and like a detox. And so I guess
I have a comment from my niece too.
Oh, okay. Being intentional about where you spend your energy is so important. Yeah. Totally agree, Anna. I think maybe even getting to that conversation, like so much of the news cycle, we had to, I think I did two things. I was either pretty good about really making sure that my brain sponge didn't get too much toxicity by turning it off at night, or I never go on social media in between. I see clients as a coach, and I never go on in between clients, because it's like, I don't want to get all fucked up by some headline or finding out bad news. So I would do that, or I would do this sick, like almost like an addictive thing. And I'm a former addict, so I know this feeling where I'll get what's going wrong in the world today, find some bad news. And I just have to open NPR or, like pick a news site. So I would like waffle between those two. And I think that is a lot of us.
And I used to be like that too. I used to like feel bad. I'm like, oh, I got to see who someone feels worse than me. So I'd get on the news. I'd like look for things that were like, oh my God, okay, well, these 3 people died. A family just died in a car accident. I'm like, oh, well, and I realized that that's not, and like I said, we talk about vibrations, and it really is about sound vibrations, right? Words are vibrations. All these things, they work in that way, right? And for me, it is important that I go to bed with something positive, even if I don't feel positive. Sometimes I have to listen to myself too. I have to learn when that I'm just trying to cover something up. And when I'm not feeling too hot in my head, I'm like, I'm going to listen to something positive or something, spiritual, right? And but I'm starting to realize when I joke around, when I was like, can you over heal yourself? Because that's what I feel like I do sometimes. But it's almost like, but my mind and my body feels it when I'm doing that too. Like you're just trying to run away from something. Like, so I'll turn it off. I'm like, okay. And, become okay with your thoughts, right?
Yeah.
Because they don't really have that much energy as much as you give it to. I'm an overthinker by a lot.
Yeah, you are.
So I try not, I try to sit back and let those thoughts go without energy, right? They're thoughts. They're not action. They're anything right at this point, and a lot of it's just over catastrophizing. I haven't stopped doing it, but I've learned tools to actually make it easier on myself.
Yeah. And I mean, I could get deeper into this subject. Do we still want to go back to our questions?
Yes. Our last question of the day,
no,
which is kind of,
they are very related, right?
Yeah, they are. That's what I'm saying. So anybody out there, first of all, thank you for coming out to Cali Cocktail Hour. Thank you, Melissa, for coming out to Cali Cocktail Hour too, and hanging out, Tilly,
I'm so happy to be here.
What's the cat's name? Salem.
I don't know where Salem went. He might have actually left when the door opened.
But we'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and we come and go. We talk about everything that comes up, and even though we have a set list, we do go off the set list too. So, but
that's the beauty of spontaneity is that we
So everybody, thank you for coming out, and we appreciate you. And if you're here, say hello. anything on there. If you have any questions, we do have. Oh, look at his hair.
Oh my God, you are late. What is up with that,
Yeah,
Mr.
Serge.
Chicago? What time is it in Chicago right now?
12, I think. 12:15. 8:12
Glad I,
a.m. 12:15.
glad
Yeah.
I made last Q, and I think he means QAnon. So
Yeah. I knew it.
he missed the Q talk. Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's put up the last question. I would love to hear your
Serge,
answer,
since
Serge.
you last, you're gonna have to answer this question for us, okay, Serge?
Yeah.
All right, because Serge is always very, actually
Poetic.
poetic, but also in lyrics. So Serge, if you can, because there's a lot of songs about this, right?
Yeah.
So here it is.
All right. When has someone else put up a boundary that was uncomfortable for you? How did you deal with it? This was actually the one that, even though I created this question, I was like, when has this happened? And I'll just go first this time and use a small example. And Serge, we want to hear your answer too. But
The pressure's on Serge.
I have a friend who will remain nameless, and I only have like 3 friends, you guys, so it's not hard to
Doe?
figure out who it is.
Was it Doe?
It's Doe. No, I have a friend who, like, it's funny because I know I do this, but okay, so texting. When someone texts me, I don't always text back. And Ruben, you know that.
I know
Like,
that.
I either don't text back or I'll take forever or I'll answer right away. But it's like I'm not consistent in that area. And yet, even though I'm not, I can get a little butthurt when my friends do the same thing. So a boundary, and this is a friend that I remember her saying out loud that she like intentionally, like she's not going to be available. She's not going to answer just because someone texts her. She doesn't want to always be available. I was like, yeah, me either. But then I was like, wait, but when it's me, like I want you to be available. And I didn't actually have this talk. It was more just, I totally respect that because I do the same thing. But the little like baby in me wants you to answer me when I want an answer, whether it's about something stupid, like what was the name of that show we talked about, or can you hang out next week, or whatever it is. So that's kind of a small example, but
Yeah.
yeah, that I mean that's a boundary, and it's one that I just have to stand behind. And again, I know that I do that, but to have someone do it to me very overtly, not just like, oh, I'm so busy, but just like, no, I just don't want to be available. It's like, well, that's okay. You don't have to be available. Whoa. You don't have
So
to be available.
on that question, right, too. So can a boundary be set as to fart? Like, let's say this way. Someone told
Did
me
you say
before, my friend
fart?
was like, what's that?
Never mind. Thought you said fart. Sorry.
I probably did.
I just had to
So,
pause right there. Okay, go on.
oh, hold on. We have a.
We have an answer. Boundary I was uncomfortable with. Gosh, no selfie rule. I respected their wishes.
See, I knew it.
Where were you where there was a no selfie rule? What bar in what hole in the wall said no selfies allowed? And
I
how
would love
dare
to
they?
know that. Yes.
Because we missed out on a selfie from Serge. Okay, what were you gonna say? Thank you,
Well,
Serge.
I did have my friend tell me, and straight up, like, we're having dinner. He's like, you always text me, but you just never respond to after I text you.
Mm,
And I was like, I had nothing to say. I'm like, because he was right.
yep. Yeah.
So when you initiate a conversation, right? Not when someone texts you, but when you initiate a conversation on a text or anything else and you don't answer back, that's different, right?
Ever? Or is it within like a certain amount of time?
No, like just the next day. Right? Right? So hey Victor, how you doing, man? How's it going?
Hi, Victor.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, and that was and it made me feel uncomfortable. Like, but I was like, you're right though. I mean, I didn't, fight. I'm like, okay, you're right. And that was like almost like a reverse boundary, right? And so every time I text this person, if I don't respond, I always respond back right now. Even if it's like a heart or a like on there, because it is true. I do. I have friends that reach out to me, and I kind of had to go around it too. I'm like, okay, so you're trying to engage me in a conversation, and then I text you back, and then you don't. 2 weeks come by, and then you come back again. I'm like, I'm over this. I don't care how long I've known you for, and a good friend of mine. But I was like, it's like that conversation doesn't flow at all, and it's like, what's going on. I mean, I do want to know what's going on, but you know, these are boundaries too, that they're like almost like little reverse boundaries that you know, that you have to do too. And I think that when people do set a boundary on you, it is always uncomfortable, right?
Hmm. Or
So
call you out on one that you've set. Like,
yeah,
let's say that that was an intentional thing that you were like, no, I don't want to answer. And I'm not saying that you decide not to answer text, but it's like sometimes when someone says, hey, you do this thing,
yeah,
to just own it and be like, yeah, I do. And that's actually, maybe it's conscious, maybe it's unconscious. I think that makes the
yeah,
difference,
yeah.
right?
And it was unconscious, but now I, you know, at least this person I do now too, and I respect him for that too. Like, hey, you talked to me and you told me, and I'm like, perfect, I'm good with that. Um,
Mm,
so
yeah. Thank you, sir. I heard a Cuervo's puppy fart.
crows don't fart.
I didn't hear like a full on like fart noise. It was just a subliminal, like he slipped a fart in, like a fart word in there. And
Yeah,
I like when we're having a serious conversation and then it's
yeah.
just like
This
serious,
is
serious
it.
fart, serious,
We
serious.
need that. We need that. You want to read that one?
Hello all. I was thinking of you today when I saw a travel type show that the Japanese ink stone that might up your art. I think basically it's a stone that you put some water on it, rub it to grind the ink out of the stone, then write with it. Ah,
Nice.
interesting. That's cool.
Yeah. Thanks, Victor.
Yeah. I'm assuming he was you,
Yeah, I did
but
burp by
I'll
the way.
yeah.
So it's kind of a reverse one.
I
Um,
yesterday I every time I meet with a client, I do like a little bit of mindfulness at the beginning.
yeah.
And I had so much like indigestion. Most of you guys know that I'm pregnant and I'm pretty pregnant at this point. So it gets even,
No one knows, by the way.
I know everyone follows my every move and
But
my
no.
last move.
So hold on. Before I do this, Melissa has a really good announcement to make. So I've never referred to it at all. So this is the first time on this show
You
that will.
haven't.
Yeah,
I
I
appreciate that.
respected it.
Ruben's known I
It
was
was my
pregnant
boundary.
for like 2 years.
Yeah.
but
So
but I didn't actually talk about it publicly until like last week. Thanks to
yeah,
Ruben, he helped me make the announcement.
yeah.
He helped me create a little the Bernie Sanders like angry mittens meme. I use that to be like, hey everybody, I'm really pregnant. Thank you, Ruben, for keeping the cat in the bag.
That's right.
And I just like to thank everyone who got me to this moment. Anyway, I have a lot of indigestion, which means I'll just have like conscious air bubbles just coming out of everything. I'm just kidding. It
So
takes a lot to raise a good kid nowadays. Yeah, I hope I'm
congrats.
doing that. Thank you, Victor. I didn't read the first part of
And
that.
I want to
Thank
say
you.
congratulations to you because it's the first time I get to say it, and you know I've
Thank
held it
you.
tight. I'm like, okay, when's she gonna tell people? Because you know, I'm like some gossip. I had it on my fake Instagram
You're like
account.
it's like you're like Perez Hilton. I
That's
love
right.
pretending like people really care what's happening.
Chris is here. Hey,
Tap
Chris.
tap
Chris
tap.
Macias.
Is this thing still on? Hey,
Yeah.
Chris. Fancy meeting you here at Cali Cocktail Hour.
Yeah. So, Chris, Melissa just announced that she was pregnant.
Chris is one of the only people that knows because I've actually
Oh,
seen
that's
him
right.
in person. He might have noticed my big beach ball in my shirt or just thought I had like a distended liver or
My
something.
favorite niece, Anna, says congratulations.
Thank you,
And
Anna.
Anna's my favorite niece now because
Ooh,
I'm
of
all,
the
don't
week.
tell anybody. No, actually, we're on this DNA search too. So,
Mm.
yeah, so it's interesting
Are you
too.
trying to figure out if you're related
And
to?
epigenetics.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
search. Yeah, so
yeah.
that's been, you know,
Awesome.
so we're gonna get back on that too. But she says congratulations, and then Zara says yes. And when are you due?
I'm due end of March, early April, sometime around there. Um, my due date, like I went 2.5 weeks over my due date last time, so that's why I'm like, I don't know when this baby will actually come.
Yeah, so everybody bring your
Okay.
congratulations so I can pour another glass of wine for myself. Chris says congratulations, Melissa.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Chris. I thought Chris was gonna scoop everybody. Like it's gonna be out there, Chris.
Yeah,
Like
what's up? You didn't write this up in any of like you didn't integrate it into the speech that the chancellor did at UC Davis. Like, friends, Romans, countrymen. Melissa Pinnell is pregnant. She is a pretty big deal. Um,
Cali
anyway,
Cocktail Hour, you know. So.
she runs Cali
Anna says
Cocktail Hour
yeah
sometimes.
with going with the DNA search. You know,
She can be
lot of lost stories. Some really interesting stories in, I'm sure, everybody's family. and those stories are lost. I'm writing a piece called about my DNA, which is part colonizer and colonized, right?
Ooh.
I am the colonizer and the colonized. So I have to be, come to peace with this part of my life because I have to love both pieces, right? The Spanish or the Portuguese. I think it's Portuguese and the indigenous. Luckily for me, I'm more indigenous, so that's awesome, But going back to Mexico but also researching all these natives that were in the area and looking, because I had to go through different ones and seeing their different the different tribes and the different. I mean, there's some really cool stuff. So that's interesting for us.
Fascinating.
But back to you.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
if you could just talk about me, that would be great.
Congratulations. And Aries. And then
Aries. Yeah. Oh, I know. A spring baby.
yeah.
Just like Samaya. Samaya was a spring baby, I believe. She was a couple months before Tilly until he was a summer baby.
Look.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on a second. Sorry.
That was a quick flash.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So, yeah, you and your husband, Michael, make good babies.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What do you call it?
I'm kind of mad at him. So
that is a scoop tonight.
Babies, but we got in a fight right before the show. You want to hear what happened? I'm just going to say what happened because he doesn't have Facebook, so he's never going to see this. So we were listening. I'm making him listen to this podcast called The Birth Hour, and it's just like a woman telling her birth story, and it's interesting because it's like we're about to have another one of these things, and it's fun to hear. And this baby that was born weighed 6 pounds 9 ounces, and Tilly weighed 8.5. And he was like, he looked at Tilly and he was like, I don't know what Daddy was feeding Mommy that you were so much bigger than that baby. And I was like, well, thanks for calling me fat. Like it just felt like he was like, Mommy was eating a lot. That's why you got so big. And it was all down. I'm sure you can imagine. It was just him saying, that wasn't what I meant. And I knew that wasn't what he meant. But I took it personally.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
So Alicia wants me to do a DNA test because she's rubber vellus, which is mine too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and yes, I did a DNA test too. Yes.
I'm sorry, but we're talking about my fight with Michael. So if we could get back to that, I'm just kidding.
You're right. You're right. I was see, and there's a boundary that we have to do, right? Who's got the control over it?
Who has got the hot topic? The hot topic is definitely more DNA.
See, LOL cheeky. That's what Zara's backing you up here.
Thank you, Zara. Can you get it? When you're pregnant and you're like already 40 pounds heavier than you normally are, and someone was like, I don't know what Mommy's eating, but she makes heavy babies, doesn't she? I'm going to kill him. Yes, I am. So if Michael ends up dead, it was not me. It was...
Michael did pretty good taking Tilly out. I didn't hear any commotion.
I know. There was a lot of tense feelings in the air, though. At least she wasn't a 10-pound baby. I'm pretty sure she's talking about Samaya. Was Samaya 10 pounds? Oh, she was so cute, though. And you're
damn right.
That was why it was. And if I remember, anyway, I could go off. I could just start talking about birth stories all night.
I'd be slightly
upset.
You,
Zara.
Well, Zara,
if you already carry a well of resentment against someone, and then
look at this.
Right?
I can feel the vibration of estrogen in the air. Which
the comments are just changing.
I accept it. I accept it. So
thank you, Ruben. You're a good equalizer of all of
my boundaries. Yes, yeah. So
I'm gonna call it rage. I'm just kidding.
Estrogen rage. I like it. That's a new term.
Estrogen rage. I feel like the older I get, the more rageful I get, and the more pregnant I get. So it's great to be here. Thank you, everyone, for your congratulations. Seriously, it's nice to be able to talk about it. I don't know why I didn't. It was more just like it hadn't come up, and now it's out. So yeah.
And we like to thank everybody for coming out next Friday. Thursday.
Oh, well, wait, sorry, next Friday. We're gonna do a show on Thursday though. Are we gonna air that on a Thursday?
I don't know if we can or not. So sorry, that's another yeah, I think so. Oh, hold on, here we go. So look.
Oh, nice, as always, it's so nice and relaxing. Great shows and coloring. Oh, I'm so
So,
glad.
yes. So next Thursday we are doing, Melissa and I are doing a spotlight show on StreamYard, which is the company that we run this live streaming with. So we are going to be spotlighting the show and how it came about. So Melissa and I are being interviewed by the company itself on a stream, and we'll repost that afterwards. So I don't know how that's going to be. Looks pretty cool, you know.
Yeah,
So
sounds cool.
so we're going national. We're going
We're
national
gonna be
now.
pretty famous after that. I don't actually know if I'll talk to you guys after that because
Yeah.
I'll be
And
famous.
we're getting Melissa promised that she would be a what was it? A correspondent during pregnancy, right?
What?
Feelings, the feelings that you're having during, you know, you're like, okay, squeeze this, and we see the, you know, we see the what do you call it? The yeah, you're gonna
Oh,
have your
like
phone.
the ultrasound.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You're like,
Yeah,
okay.
going up and down. Yeah, I'm gonna live stream my birth, so look out, you guys.
Tanessa, thank you. Thank you, Danelle, for coming out tonight, and yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everybody who joined us. Even if you didn't interact much, we love you. Glad that you were here. We can feel it, right? The vibration of having shared space with kind and wonderful humans. So thank you for joining us.
We feel love. We feel, oh, it's your life. Remember that?
Oh,
So yeah, so everybody, thank you for coming out. Almost on a big homie level. Okay, I got that one. So come on next Friday. Thursday we will. Is it this Thursday we're doing that show, or is it next Thursday?
I think it's next. Actually, I don't know. It's the 11th.
Yeah, so that's 2 Thursdays from now, I think. Yeah, because it's 29th now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and for all these came out late, next time we're setting our boundaries. Come early, okay? We'll have a good show next Friday. Some little interesting things here and there. And so come out. I don't know quite what it is, but I will figure it out tomorrow after I drink my little bit of wine and, you know, call people, talk to my people, have people call me.
Get those juices percolating.
Get those vibrations going. Yeah. So, and thank you, Melissa, for coming out. We're at the 10:30 mark, which I, you know, always tell you I'm never going to keep you there, but you always do. So that's good.
Thank you for having me. It was great to be here. I missed everybody. So wonderful to see you, Ruben, and also everyone.
Soon, the National Geographic channel, see? And everybody out there, thank you for coming out, and we appreciate you for coming. And say your goodnights because we're out of here soon. So put them up if you're going to say goodnight to us.
If you're going to profess your love to us, do it now because we'll be gone in like a minute.
So, yeah, I love you too, Jen.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Melissa, yes. And to Salem, and to Tilly, to Michael, congratulations.
Please pray for Michael. I'm just kidding. Oh, Persephone is still awake. She says, oh, I like them. They're so nice. Well, I like her, even though I've never met her.
I feel like I have.
I know. I feel like I have too.
I see all the pictures and everything else. So
her cooking adventures and art adventures and drawing all over her face.
Yeah. So next week we're gonna have a we're gonna have started having a artist featured artist too. And showing some pictures of some local artists around here and just artists in general too. I wanted to do that tonight, but kind of change up a little bit. So change up a little bit. That's okay. Yeah. So next time, good night. Triple OGs, whenever you say goes Cali, that's right. And then good night. Love you guys. Okay, love you too, Ash.
Love you too.
And good night to everybody else. And Melissa, I will see you. I'll text you so you won't text me back. So we just set our boundaries on. There you go.
I try to text you back.
Yeah.
But not everyone.
I already know that because I just keep texting you, right?
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I also can appreciate when I am like annoying when I don't answer, but I've also, I think, kind of put it out there that I'm not a good texter, and I don't know. Thank you for just being my friend. I appreciate that.
And then Christine LaFree says,
oh, hi, Christine. It's so nice to see your name, and I'm glad that you were here at all, even if you were late.
Yeah. See?
Awesome.
You did Rubes when I moved back from SF at Tower. You gave her a slide. That's right. I did. That's right.
Oh, so, now I'm jealous.
Yeah. Good night, Alicia. And we will do that. I'll talk to you about that DNA because a lot of it has to do with our Ravella side of our grandparents So we have 6 generations written down. So Anna and I are going to look at that in all the records that the Catholic Church has, which they obviously carry some good.
That's cool.
Yeah, but on the other side, we have my indigenous roots that I have to find because they're harder to find too, because they didn't have very good
record keeping. Yeah.
records. Yeah. So, but it's interesting and it's gonna be awesome. So, but everybody, thank you for coming out tonight. Any last words, Melissa?
Out, you guys. Have a beautiful weekend, and I'm glad that you're alive. I'm glad to share the planet with everyone that is listening to these words right now, because how serendipitous that we were born around the same time. As we talk about generations and the huge big words here, I'm getting tired, but I'm just happy to be with you all. So
Oh, here you go. Oh, yes. That's about the DNA.
Yeah,
about the so So I mean,
that's cool.
I did find some pretty cool anyways, some cool native dances. I mean, native celebrations, I should say, or traditions. So, anyways, I will talk to you soon. Talk to everybody soon. Thank you for coming out. Come back next Friday, Cali Cocktail Hour. We'll be doing more pop-ups too, artist pop-ups and conversations with artists and all that wonderful stuff that y'all want to hear. So, who's Lady Diana? Princess Diana?
Because she wrote DA in her first comment. She's just correcting it, Ruben, you silly goose.
Anyways, all right. Well, everybody, I'm sorry. I try to be funny, but sometimes that doesn't work. So, good night, everybody. Good night, Melissa. Maybe next time you'll see, she'll be back next month.
Yeah.
4 shows. Unfortunately, she won't be here when everybody's going to come see her. What time did you start?
We start at 9 p.m. on Fridays. Yeah. I'll post about it next time we're on too, so that there's like a record on my wall. I'll invite you, Christine, if you want to come.
Because I'm going to tell Melissa she's got to come on in 2 weeks because we're going to be featured and then people are going to come see it. And then what? She's not going to be here?
I know. They were like, we came from Melissa. Where is she?
I'm all, anyways.
She got cast off the island.
Yeah, I'm like, So anyways, well, everybody have a good night. Oh, I got another comment, so let's see.
People know that we're never going to leave if we keep commenting.
Christine, who's Christine?
She is an old friend, and it's so awesome.
We don't say old friends anymore this time. We say
she is a
antique.
Ancient.
No. Listen, that's worse.
She is a friend I have known for about almost a decade now, which is crazy.
Oh wow!
Crazy how.
Well, nice to meet you, Christine.
Yeah, come join us again. I'll invite you to the next one because there's a way to invite people.
Yes.
I never do that because it's like,
No, like that.
I'm just not like that. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, we the cool part is we had a lot of people on the stream and everybody. No.
Yeah.
Did you say that? Did I say that?
You said that.
But do you know why I'm saying that?
Because you have 4 people skills.
No. Hola, Denora, ¿cómo estás? Denora, I want you to come on the show too. Denora's an awesome singer, beautiful singer, awesome person. So I want you to come on and see.
Oh, I would love to see that.
Yeah, and Denora's awesome. So she's great personality from, and so Denora, vas a venir aquí también, okay? A cantar, talk, So I would love to have you on here too. But everybody, thank you for coming.
Sorry for calling you an antique. Let's just put that out there. Not you, Denora.
See, Denora said yes. The reason, no. I was like, the reason why I said antique because when I went to Mexico and looking for my mom's side of the family, which is the native side of the family, they call them la gente antigua, and that was in my brain, which was the ancient ones. So every time, I did some really dumb things and looking for some really not good language, American language, to find my roots, and I realized I'm like, do not say that word, and just because you just don't know. But so I learned that word, la gente antigua. So yeah.
Okay, that's a fair enough excuse.
So thank you. Yeah, see,
hopefully Christine will take that.
Fine. Yes, well, that was a comeback, by the way. I'm like, how am I going to get out of this one?
That's why they call it a comeback.
Yeah. So,
all right. Hey.
Okay. That's it. Good night, everybody.
Just take the foot out of your mouth and you just put it on the shelf over there.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, so
All
let's
right,
go.
everybody, have a good night.
Good
We're
night,
really leaving
everybody.
Korea. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yes. Good night.
Maybe I've seen my dad, and I'm alive to kill the time. What triggers the idea of la da da da? Well, I've lived this before. And why must we experience it? My curiosity kills cities of cats. That's that.